feel like I'm on a carousel. I feel like I'm at that new carousel they just brought back to Salisbury Beach.
Are we shopping for new music? Is that what you're telling me?
Going around. That's what it.
Is that what I'm hearing?
This is what we call a transitional phase. This music, okay?
Okay.
It should be gone by next week, correct?
I can't promise next week.
You can jump off the carousel, right?
Wow.
Boy, that carousel they did.
Boy, that pre-show meeting went really right in the tubes.
The carousel up at the beach. It's so nice. You know, nostalgia, man.
I bet.
You can't beat it.
Did you ride on it?
You can't. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. I have not.
We need video of that.
Why? You think I'm incapable of?
No, it'd be an interesting sight.
I
Fun
think
to see.
I mean, the building they did and to do the research that they did, because they couldn't get back the original.
Mm-hmm.
And Wayne Capilupo and his crew, that whole staff, I mean, they low everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally found one that was carved by the same craftsman that did the original. And you know something, there's good things. There's good things happening at Salisbury Beach. And I'm really glad. I am, because in my opinion, I think Salisbury Beach, the sand and with Seabrook is the best sand.
Absolutely.
I don't care if you go to the Caribbean.
Sure.
There's
some truth to that. Absolutely.
Yep. You know, I think you'll agree with me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And now when you're looking and you're seeing a lot of the old houses, shacks or whatever you want to call them, being taken down and new buildings being put up, man, the future is very, very, very bright. Wayne Capilupo and that whole group, Atlantic Hospitality, what they've done, they set that cornerstone. And, you know, those 5 or 6 businesses that are there, Blue Ocean, Seabreeze.
Yeah.
I know you have a table with your name on it, it's Seabreeze.
Did I tell you I went to my first Capri for the first time not too long ago?
No.
Since starting back on the Sicilian corner.
Well.
Listen, I know Atlantic Hospitality is good. I was still pleasantly surprised. It was really excellent.
The Capri?
Yep.
They remodeled it and
It looks great.
It looks fantastic.
Yep.
And it's all locals. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but when it comes to Italian food, I mean, I love to cook.
Sure.
And I'm super critical of going to an Italian restaurant.
Okay.
There's a few that really strike me.
Right.
And I got to tell you, Capri, I have never walked out of there. What I like about it, in the winter, in the fall, in the winter, it's open 52 weeks out of the year. You got plenty of parking. It's just, Barbara and I just love going. And, you know, something, Kathleen, the hostess, who sat you, do you know?
No, offhand, no, I don't know.
Don't you ask people's name?
Well, they have a name tag, but no, I don't necessarily feel like I have to get that comfortable with them.
Talk about being on the spot.
Let me ask you.
Oh, wait a second. You're going with your girlfriend. Do you get that involved with the waitress at that point?
Usually.
Yeah.
I want them.
Barbara puts up with that. Well, I mean,
she's pretty even, Steven. I mean, you know, I'm a little bit outgoing.
Yeah, no, that's
you. Just a bit. Yeah, sure. I see that.
Don't you talk.
It's part of who you are.
Hey, everybody. I want to introduce our in-studio guest this morning, Francisco Urena.
Pleasure.
Francisco, we go back a long way, man.
Indeed, we do.
Now, let's get back to the question about going into a restaurant.
Yeah.
Do you feel a need to know the hostess or your waiter or waitress? So when you go back a little bit, they may remember you. And if you need a favor here and there,
absolutely. Yeah, that goes a long way. That is a true point. So repeat business is key. And I guess if you don't want to reestablish what you like, how you like it, and I can see Mike being those types of things are important to Mike.
I agree, but that doesn't mean being on a first name basis with the staff.
Yes, it does.
You can just be courteous. You can be nice. No. You can leave a nice tip.
Leaving a tip is important.
Always important. Yeah, whether you know the name or not.
It's a difficult job, to say the least. To put up with the public, it's difficult, right?
You know, she was good to me because she, when we ordered drinks, I ordered one of those blue coconut martini.
Which you should, if you're if you're at the
margarita
beach.
type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then Janet ordered a old fashioned.
Okay.
And so I was kind of embarrassed because I ordered the girl drink and she ordered the man drink.
Wow.
So I
There's
looked at
no
the
such thing
I
today.
looked at the waitress and I said, "We order each other's drinks. That's just the way it works." And she goes, "Yeah, I get it."
Did you really?
I did, yeah.
I have to tell you, Kathleen Serrano, she manages that Capri. I mean,
Yeah.
if I owned a business, that would be the kind of person that I would like to have representing me and for what I stood for, to be honest with you. I can't say enough good things about her. Sometimes you got a big crowd, you may be 10 or 12, and you're trying to make a last minute reservation on a busy night. And that's when you need a little bit of imagination going on and to make things happen. But I got to tell you, folks, the Capri, I like it. I like it a lot.
So now I just love all the Atlantic hospitality properties. I can say it firsthand. And
That was the one you hadn't gone
that's
to.
the one I hadn't gone to.
You don't like
that.
Italian food? What do you got against Italian food?
Honestly, I have nothing against
Yeah,
Italian
you do.
food, but honestly, I don't do Italian restaurants all that often. But listen,
Is there a reason?
there's Sea Glass and there's Surfside, which are right on the beach, by the way, when you're at the
That's
beach.
true.
Yeah.
Why would you go like a half block off the beach and sit inside? And so it's just been something I hadn't normally gone to. But this winter, I'll be going there.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to say hi to Kathleen?
I will.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
Kathy
sure?
Aiello? I always.
No, Kathleen.
Oh, Kathleen. No, I met
Kathy
Kathleen.
Aiello.
I always say hi to Kathleen.
When you walk into Sea Glass and you turn around and you say to Bonnie, the hostess, "Is Kathy around today?" "Yeah, she's around somewhere. Just tell her I was asking for her," right? Never see her. Never see- It's not that I'm looking for anything.
I see her all the time.
I do, but
Yeah.
once in a while, come over to the table,
Sure.
say, "Everything okay? How's this and how's that? What do you think of this new?" And I could give her input. She's only as good as
That's
the
why she avoids Mikey.
That's right. I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I shower and shave every morning before I go there. We
Not the
got quite a few people. Nancy DeMarco, she's saying hi to Barbara and Andy.
Yeah.
Roger Trudell, you're super critical. Shame on you, Father Mikey. Andy Parisi, I think Andy's up in New Hampshire at his summer place. Nancy and Barbara. Barbara, my main squeeze, is saying hello to everybody. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But calling me super critical, Roger, shame on you. What's Nancy want to know? I always ask their name if they don't offer it.
Yeah.
That's the right
Yeah,
way
that's
to
a good
do
start. Yeah.
it. Yeah. Do you get better service when you mention your name? Absolutely not. Hey, Marie,
Are you kidding me?
we are glad you shower and shave. Hey. Let's
Are you
not
kidding
go.
me? I came this close to mentioning your name to get a discount on my meal at Capri. So
Discount? I don't get no discount.
Yeah.
Discount? What the hell's a discount? They charge me more, if anything. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What's your favorite Italian restaurant? I'm going on the spot.
Wow, I am. You are putting me on the spot now. I frequented a few places in the North End. In my days, Mama Maria's is one of them.
Mama Maria's is a step
yeah.
above.
Yeah, that was a tremendous, and it was also an experience I had. I went there with a group of friends, Marine buddies, and so the meal was great. But I think the ambiance, what they provided us, the seating downstairs, the ability to seat us, my friend, just it was
A total package.
a memorable day. To
Total
this day, I
package.
still remember. I mean, I remember that great meal, but I also remember that experience.
Yep.
I don't remember my waitress, and I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna have to put more focus on that now.
And you're a people person.
I am.
I want to go
I
out to
mean-
dinner on a table of Marines. That's what I want to do.
Marine Corps birthday. We could probably facilitate that.
I can imagine that's quite an experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Francisco, I asked you to come in because you were here and you came from Santo Domingo.
I did.
4 or 5 years
At
old?
the age of 4.
4.
Yes.
And your mom was a single mom,
Yes.
and that's difficult.
Yes.
That's difficult. And here you are in the big bad city of Lawrence, Massachusetts, trying to grow up to be a good person.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of ways that things could have went wrong.
Mhm.
Your mom, in her infinite wisdom, decided to move you and back to Florida.
Sure.
And you were in Broward County.
Broward County,
Is that
Hollywood.
Miami, Fort Lauderdale?
That is Hollywood, Florida,
Hollywood there,
14
yeah, right
miles
there.
north of Miami. And it wasn't by choice. Our house got broken in 3 times in 1 month.
Jesus.
3 times in 1
Wow.
month. We were abutting one of the public housing developments off of Oxford Street.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was just not a easy place to grow up. So mid 80s.
You have sibling?
I do have a sister.
Cool.
And so life, it just kind of,
You could see the handwriting on the wall. Your mother could.
yes, for sure. You know, at that age, you know, you're young and you're like, oh, gee, they didn't steal my bike. Did I have a bad bike? That was my attitude. It's like, but you know, mom knew best, and life got a little better growing up in South Florida.
So Broward High School you went to.
South Broward, yes.
South Broward. You know, a lot of athletes came out of that high school.
There is a track record of that.
It's
They had a
unbelievable.
good
I was
school
shocked.
program. Sure.
I was shocked. Louis, it's amazing how many people graduated from that school. That
Yeah.
went on to have professional
Mhm.
careers,
Sure.
right?
It was the thing, and I think the seasons of Florida.
It was what, the thing?
The thing, sure.
I have a friend of mine, right? Louis, you remember Ronnie Valenti?
Oh, sure.
So no matter what you asked,
Yeah.
no matter what you asked,
Love
us,
Ronnie.
no matter what you ask him,
Yeah.
he looks at you, and he's always perpetual motion.
Yeah.
You know, the shoulders.
Mhm.
It's an Italian thing.
Okay.
The shoulders
He's
are
like
moving.
central casting Italian.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hey, you know, hey, Mike. You know the thing. What thing? You know the thing. That's all I ever get out of him. The thing. What the freak is the thing? I don't know what the thing is. Guy would drive.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him to pieces. I really do. He's a pleasure to be with. We're going to get him on the show,
Good.
and he's going to tell us what that thing is,
Okay.
because I'm really curious about that.
Going back to Hollywood, Florida, there was a lot of focus on sports, and I think that was what perpetuated a lot of these athletes to take it professionally to the next phase. A lot of my classmates ended up in good university programs,
Oh,
basketball, football,
Yeah.
on full scholarships. In those days,
Did you play any sports?
I played volleyball. I was a volleyball player,
Nice.
but I was also involved in scouts, and I think that also gave me my foundation. So my time was
You weren't just involved. You became an Eagle
I was
Scout.
going to say, how
yes.
far did you go? Yeah.
yes.
I mean,
yes.
let's
yes.
call a spade a spade. I
Let's
mean,
call it.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
My next door neighbor.
Wait a second. I want to know Francisco Urena's Eagle Scout project.
So Eagle Scout Project,
Yeah.
which is you guys, if you listen to this project, so I led a collection of clothing for the homeless of Hollywood, Florida.
Yep.
We 400 pounds of clothing. We laundered that clothing. We folded, distributed to various sites that took care of homeless individuals, and that was
Nice.
in my high school years.
Yep.
And so fast forward to a lot of that I have done. I think that base of
Oh, yeah.
involvement has,
There's
I've always
overlapping.
and to this day, I still keep in touch with my scoutmaster who lives in Broward County. Last month I attended his second wedding, and so that's how close the mentorship of
Yep.
the seed that was planted in scouting and that relationship of scouts as a foundation for youth development was in my life. So my time was in competition for sports, and I think that's part of why I didn't go down that route.
But I think the seed was planted for you caring for people. And I'd like to just fast forward now. We came back to Lawrence. We're going through the flood, 2006. We ended up
Yeah.
getting a foot of rain in
Yep.
like 3 days.
Yes.
Certain parts of Lawrence really got inundated,
Mhm.
which you have to keep in mind that there's actually a flag. I don't know if you've ever seen this particular flag of the city of Lawrence, but it represents the 3 rivers.
Yes,
You have seen it.
I have.
A lot of people haven't.
Sure, a blue flag with white stripes.
Yeah.
The Merrimack, the Spigot, and
Shashi,
the Shashin. There you go.
there you go. But
Like a swimming hole.
a lot of people just have never seen that. And it's quite interesting.
Sure.
I saw it at the History Center
Mhm.
and I was kind of taken by it, But we had a lot of severe flooding. And I mean, and over 3,000 people, I believe, were evacuated.
Mhm.
Our good friend, the Honorable Mikey Sullivan,
Yep.
who's a very dear friend of ours,
Indeed.
mine
Absolutely.
and yours.
mine as well, yes.
And you were in school and you became kind of in the middle, representing the Spanish population, communicating, telling people where they could go. You were like Mayor Sullivan's
By
voice.
chance, I just had arrived from the Marines. I was discharged from the Marines the day prior, May 15th, 2006.
It was the day before.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I arrived and I rode my bike. My mom was living in Lexington Street, so that's my home address.
Nobody stole it?
Nobody stole it.
All right.
Yeah.
But didn't have a good enough bike.
No.
Probably not.
Yeah,
I
probably
still
not.
have- nothing had upgraded, right?
Flat tires.
But nonetheless, I went to, as a Marine, to assess the area. Oh, let me go learn my
Recon.
area
He's
of
on a
operation.
recon mission.
Right?
On your
And
bike?
there on my bike, I'm talking about like 3 blocks away
Yeah.
from Lexington Street to the Platestead, right off of
Yep.
Park Street in Lawrence,
Thanks to the spigot.
next to the spigot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we go down there
In the
and,
spigot at that point.
so absolutely, yeah, that was what, about 6 feet of water in,
Yeah.
in
Oh,
that
yeah.
whole park. The carp, remember the carp were swimming like it was like an aquarium in there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And there I met with Mayor Sullivan, and I remember local access television. It was my venue of
You were
transition.
recording, right? Filming?
They asked me for what I understood. Hey, do you want to interview? And I said, sure. It turned out that some of the folks involved in there, Jim, Dahlia Diaz at the time, she was a week into this, preparing for the floods, going through the floods, and she had a hoarse voice. So she just hands me the mic and said, hey, can you just ask some questions with me? And she, to this day, she says, I remember very vividly, you did such a good job. I just stepped away. And from there, that week, it was about translating the message, having people know where to receive services, whether a hot
Important.
shower or a meal or the insurance claim, how to FEMA, which
So
was
you
here
were
in
doing
town.
all this in your own? How old were you?
I mean, I was 26 at the time, 25, because I had just recently transitioned from the Marines, but it was the right thing to do. It was just, telling.
We're going to talk a
our
little
neighbor's
bit more
story.
about
Yeah.
this when we get
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
You
okay.
don't mind,
Okay.
right?
25 in
absolutely.
Marine years.
Yeah,
That's a different thing.
that is a different thing. Louis, why don't we go out to break and we're going to be right back.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
This is David from the Sicilian Corner. You know, Mike, Tom, and I love to go to Salisbury Beach, but we love different things and can never agree where to go. Tom likes the casual, family-style dining, the great Italian cuisine, Capri's Seaside Italian Kitchen and Pizzeria. Me? I love the elegant, romantic vibes Sea Glass with the amazing view and terrific menu, with prices that make it the place you want to visit each and every week. Mike loves a drink in his hand and a cool ocean breeze right off the surf, and the rhythms of a cooler reggae band. We all know Mike loves Bob Marley tunes at Surfside. Who doesn't love a great show? National acts, comedy, regional favorites in the beautiful and intimate Blue Ocean Concert Hall. Lucky for us, Atlantic Hospitality, all of these great places, and Sicilian.com. And Mike, Tom, and I will see you there.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin
Yeah, I can
tips,
see that.
homemade sausage, marinated chicken,
back
and
now, I
thick,
gather.
juicy
Ah,
Chairman
that
Reserve
sounds good.
steaks. Your family
So
deserves the best, so call
anyway,
Peter at
when I was in
978-374-4795
basic and you and I were talking off the air,
or visit their
I
website
realized
at
that military life, it's for certain
www.haverbeef.com.
people, and it's not for certain people.
Sure.
And I kind of regretted that I went in the reserves and not regular Army, to be honest with you. But it all worked out for the best. And, Vietnam was a very controversial situation.
Right.
And, that's my story about the military. But I was in the 331st General Hospital, and we were the biggest hospital in Massachusetts at the time. I believe we had 340 people, and we had 68 officers. Me, all you did was salute every 2 seconds. They were all doctors.
Of course,
they were all doctors. So anyway, let's get back. So here you are. You're representing basically, in an indirect way, the city of Lawrence mayor's office, and you're helping people out. And that struck a chord with Mike Sullivan. Right. It really did. And he saw something in you, almost like when I first met you for the first time, the impression I had, I said, wow, what a future this kid's got. And you know who kept on driving you crazy about running for mayor? It was me.
Of course.
Because I thought you would have been outstanding. I would have done anything to help you. Believe me when I tell you.
Sure.
And you know something? You're a young man. I mean, if you decide to go in that direction, you have so many supporters in the Merrimack Valley. It's incredible, and you should feel good.
I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have that. It's been a lot of experiences. I think I've had interactions with people that have set that pathway. I've learned from a lot of people. I learned from a lot of residents, their stories, their upbringing in the valley, whether it was Lawrence, Methuen, Haverhill, or what have you. And is that ability to have that little bit of interaction and continue to carry forward and do a good job to others.
Yeah, it's nice to give back, isn't it?
It is.
And
I think
being a
still
people
there,
person,
sure.
which you are, and to a certain degree, I am too. I always root for the underdog.
Okay.
I always have. And it used to really kind of tick people off quite a bit because, everybody would be Patriots this, Patriots that. Okay. And I used to always root for the team that they were going to play, just to annoy people around me. And it worked. It worked.
I bet you annoyed a lot of people.
Oh, sure. You have no idea. Like Louis, he's big time Patriots fan.
Yep.
And
you're just trying to protect your Packers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers, Bill Quinlan, who grew up in the city of Lawrence, Burke, all these guys, Bill Quinlan would come to our practice because I played football for Lawrence High in 61. And we had a very, very good team. And Bill would come with us to summer camp, and I was a defensive end. He was a defensive end, and I thought I was pretty good, and he knew he was damn good. And he helped me a lot. I looked at this guy, and he weighed about 290 pounds. And he says to me one day, "You think you're pretty quick?" I says, "Yeah, I can run."
Yeah.
He says, "I can beat you in a sprint." Well, his idea of a sprint was 100 yards. Ooh. So now everybody on the team's hearing what's going on. So we went over to the regular stadium because we used to practice in the back.
Okay.
And the whole team is standing there after practice. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. I take off and going as fast as I possibly can. And keep in mind, it's 100 yards.
Right.
I'm looking to my right, nowhere to be
gone.
seen.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm hearing sounded like an elephant coming up on the outside of me. And I look, and he's keeping pace with me, the son of a gun, 280 odd pounds. Yeah. And he's running. I'm 215.
Sure.
And he's run. We ended up in a tie. To this day, I still can't believe it. Yeah, I can't believe it. But growing up in the city was absolutely incredible. And I think it was a good experience overall for you because you saw, you knew that there were some problems that needed to be corrected. And, something from that point, when you helped all those people up during the flood, you became recognized by certain individuals in the city of Lawrence. And when you were going to school, you actually volunteered services at the Veterans Admin. You'd go into the office.
Absolutely.
Tell
Yeah, because that was shortly after. My plan after leaving the Marine Corps was to take a semester at Northern Essex Community College, get my kind of bearings back being in a classroom. And I was already admitted to the University of Minnesota. That was my plan. And why Minnesota was because the GI Bill paid $12,000 and the University of Minnesota was $12,000 for out-of-state tuition.
It's a win-win.
Yes.
Sign me up.
That was my plan. But it was also not knowing. So you're in California. Remember, I grew up in South Florida. I didn't do a lot of research. There was possibly not a lot of information in those days of promotion of schools. You look up schools, you find a lot of online schools available. And I just didn't know what great experience I would have at Northern Essex Community College until my first semester at Northern Essex Community College. So I delayed my admittance. I'm like, oh, I'm having a really good time. I'm knocking out some courses in summer. Mm-hmm. Summer courses were the best because you could knock out a good amount of coursework within a short period of time. It's really compressed. Okay. And so my first semester, I delayed it over at Minnesota. I went into a second semester. By that time, I was already 2 semesters into Northern Essex. I'm like, well, let me just complete my associate's degree here. At the same time, because of that interactions during the floods, I got involved through Mayor Sullivan's request to give a hand at the Veterans Office.
You didn't put pressure on
I didn't know.
Did he put pressure
not at all. One of the
things.
Did
he lean on you?
Not at all. There was not much to lean because it was helping fellow veterans, right?
Yeah,
so is that relationship, again, helping people who have been through boot camp, have been through some tough times, are having challenges, both physically, emotionally, and possibly substance abuse. And how can, through the coursework of that work, give them a bit of hope.
But Mike saw it was a perfect fit.
Indeed.
It was just
Indeed.
laid out there for it.
He hit the target on that one.
Sure.
Yeah.
He hit the target on that one.
I didn't know one of the things I didn't know, and a lot of veterans often don't know, is that there's a veterans office in every city and town. I didn't know that coming to Lawrence. And that office, there was a gentleman there who...
How many veterans were in Lawrence at that time?
At the time, there was calculated about 6,500 veterans in Lawrence.
Population was probably 80, 84.
Yes, throughout. So that was the if memory serves. And that office was helping about 14 people.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
Because people didn't know. They didn't even know it existed.
Correct. And so within the time that I was there, within my first 3 months, we were able to find 85 veterans that were in need of financial services.
Well,
so
you eventually took over Veterans Affairs.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, you were volunteering.
Correct.
On your own time after school. You would come into that office and sit there and work on the filing system.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Correct.
According to what Mike
was no, correct. Yeah. The filing system and then the outreach, just calling veterans saying, hey, we know you live here in town. These services are available.
So you went after them.
Correct. That we went to the housing developments. We went to the community. We got some of the information and really, and one of the attitudes that I would often encounter with veterans, oh, no, that's not for me. Somebody else needs it most. And we're like, no, Joe, you need it. Let's help you because these services are here for you. Filing claims with the VA, right? Something happens to a person during service. How can they get compensated for that time being there? So many great experiences, but that's how we got to that 85 veterans that we were able to assist because they needed help. They just didn't know that help was there.
I think that's fantastic. I really do. You got wounded. You ended up being awarded the highest award a person can get, really, in the military, the Purple Heart. You were where in Anwar province?
El Anbar province.
Yeah.
In the Al-Qaim region next to the Syrian border. I was in a tank. And I have to this day, I still carry a piece of shrapnel.
Wait a minute. You were in a tank?
I was in a tank.
Okay.
Commander.
I want to know, and Louis wants to know, because I know Louis, he's been biting at the bit for this. I know when you first went in the Marines, you ended up kind of with, I don't know, Louis, what would you call it? Soft duty?
How so?
I would
working.
Do not pin that on me.
Working.
There is no soft duty.
Working in an embassy.
Well,
not only one embassy, but two or three.
Two
okay,
embassies.
So here's this.
But that's not how I started. Let's recap the story here. I was hand selected for that job, and I had to re-enlist. So 8
there
years.
is soft duty in Marines, apparently.
I just want to say it's not soft duty.
I think you're taking this personal.
Just want to get the record straight.
All right. So here we are. You're a tank commander.
Yes.
So you went from a soft job to it.
Here we go.
All right. I'm only kidding around.
Sure.
So here we are.
Yes.
And you got wounded in the face, I remember.
In the
right?
face, yes. I still have some shrapnel to the cheek.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
How come you never had it out?
I've
'Cause of
I've had a few consultations with there's so many nerves cross.
The
that's
risk
part
reward
of-
ratio is not in your favor?
Correct. Yes, it is not, and it's
You
not in
like,
the favor
you like
of
that,
doctor.
Louis? Risk reward ratio?
I do like that.
Thank you very much. I mean, for a
I
Friday
live
morning,
risk reward
Yeah,
ratio.
11:30,
Yeah.
not bad. Roger Trudell, he likes the new format.
Yes.
He says the new format rocks.
If we can get the
Uh,
commercials to play, it'd be even better.
The sponsors would appreciate that. Yeah.
That goes a long way. Hello, refund. Can I hear refund?
We'll
But
do make goods.
we always do. We always do. We've been on, it's this coming December 4th. It'll be 23 years for us.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
What a blessing.
But so you served what, 6 years?
8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
And you were a sergeant when you get out?
Staff sergeants.
Staff sergeant when you
Yes.
get out? A good experience, no?
Outstanding experience. To this day, if I was
If
to
you
do it
had
all
a boy,
again,
if you had a son, would you want him to go?
I would like him to go. It's on his decision or her decision, right? His
Sure.
or
Oh
hers,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
We were just talking about that. 23% of our country are qualified to serve in the military. Think about that number.
That's
23% are qualified, and only 2% actually followed through and joined.
23% qualified because of what? Weight or
Weight, aptitude, or drugs. Those are the three things that disqualify a young person.
felonies?
Felonies, sure. Drug abuse, drug disorder.
Only 23%. That shocks me.
The waivers on the aspect of asthma or any other type of medical ailment that prevents them
Boy,
from doing what we did in the military. So 23%. And like I said, only 1% ends up serving.
Gee, that's a low number.
It is.
But with the technology, we really don't need the amount of bodies that we used to, correct?
Well,
Or am
look,
I-
the militaries are having a challenge recruiting. And I think in any good economy, that also
You know
happens.
why they're having a hard time?
Why is
Because
that?
they should have made you a staff sergeant Marine recruiter.
Wow.
And they should have planked you right on Essex Street.
Well, they
And I got news for you.
Yeah.
You would have been #1 recruiter in the state, Massachusetts.
okay. But it wasn't for me, right? I finished my second term and I wanted to come back home and go to school, right? They wanted me to stay.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move. Smart move. You and I interfaced quite a bit
We
when with the Feast of the Three Saints, and I would meet with you in your office and say, my budget is limited, but I'd like to have a military band, and you would make suggestions
Sure.
to me. And I have to tell you, every time you pointed me in a direction, whether it be Air Force,
Mhm.
Army, whatever, the musicians, Lou, that they have in some of these
Oh, yeah.
they're
Yeah,
unbelievable.
best.
They're unbelievable. The best.
Many of those musicians, so many of these units, in some cases, I think the 2 units that we brought here to Lawrence to those specific feasts
I love
are
it.
reservists. So they're musicians
Oh,
already.
okay.
So there you see the talent that they just the performances that they put together. To have them in a venue like the Three Feasts where they're really appreciated, not only for their service to our country, but the quality of music, then how it complemented the shows.
We have our 100th anniversary coming up, and the guys are really, really working hard,
Mhm.
man. I'll tell you, this is
It is.
this is big, and it's certain years things are leaner than others. You
Mhm.
could have a bad year the year before. You could have had rain, whatever the case might be, and to be able to have the quality of that kind of an orchestra
Sure.
come and perform.
Right.
We'd take care of them, we'd feed them, and we had drinks
Yeah.
and all that, and a lot of the wives would be cooking the meal,
Sure.
and so they ate good.
Right.
They ate very
Yeah.
good. But I just want to thank you publicly once
Oh, thank
again. You made my job as the entertainment director. Tommy Zappler was with me for many years, and then he stepped aside, and it was my playground, and
Sure.
I loved it. I had some great help. Joey McQuarrie, Jimmy Samataro. I mean, we had some awesome guys, and it was fun.
Right.
Those shows in a common,
Oh.
the best.
Right.
the best.
Right.
I was really kind of hoping that this year, we're going to be doing the same thing. But you know something, they're going in a different direction. We have an orchestra coming from Sicily,
Really?
over 30 pieces,
Wow.
and that should be really something special. When we can hear the ads to the Sicilian Corner, you're going to actually hear an ad from the St. Delphio Society,
Okay.
I think.
I'm working on a backup plan.
Thank you.
I think. But something, we come back, I really I want to get into the Lawrence Municipal Airport.
Yeah.
I lived probably a quarter of a mile away from that airport. I lived on Chadwick Street, North Andover. And the airport was never a problem. I used to love to go for a walk. My wife, Lucille, we would walk from Chadwick Street down to the airport and walk around. And,
Sure.
they had a little diner there, and
Still
they
there?
they have a different one, a new
Right,
owner.
sure. Absolutely.
What is it, Dominic's?
Dominic's.
Yeah. And I was telling Louis, that's where I met you, as a matter of fact, not too long ago. We had a bunch of the guys that went to school with us, and we get together like every 3 months. Yeah. And we sat outside and we're watching the planes come down. One of the fellows had a picture of, I believe it was a DC-3.
Okay.
The Lawrence, the city of Lawrence, in cooperation with all the social clubs, raised enough money to send our undefeated football team in 1961 Class A to New York for 4 days and to Washington, D.C. for 3. And it was the first time little Mikey was ever on a plane.
Wow.
And it was pretty cool. We had a lot of fun. Hey, Lou, why don't let's see if we can listen to a couple of our sponsors.
Let's give it a shot.
What do you think? Can I
Let's
give it a shot? Give it a shot. And we'll be right back.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
This is David from the Sicilian Corner. You know, Mike, Tom, and I love to go to Salisbury Beach, but we love different things and can never agree where to go. Tom likes the casual family-style dining, the great Italian cuisine, Capri's seaside Italian kitchen and pizzeria. Me? I love the elegant romantic vibe Sea Glass with the amazing view and terrific menu, with prices that make it the place you want to visit each and every week. Mike loves a drink in his hand and a cool ocean breeze right off the surf and the rhythms of a cooler reggae band. We all know Mike loves Bob Marley tunes at Surfside. Who doesn't love a great show? National acts, comedy, regional favorites, and the beautiful and intimate Blue Ocean Concert Hall. Lucky for us, Atlantic Hospitality is the host of all of these great places, and they treat everyone like they are Mike Lomazzo. Best of all, we never have to choose. Park the car once, and all this fun is right at your fingertips. You can have it all in the heart of Salisbury Beach. Find out all the ways you can have a great night at Salisbury Beach at northshorepavilion.com. And Mike, Tom, and I will see you there.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverbeef.com.
Hi, this is Mike, and I would like to tell you about the Deborah Care Law Offices, a firm that is focused on estate planning, probate, trust administration, and elder law issues. You will feel comfortable discussing important issues concerning both you and your loved ones, as well as having the information you need to make an informed decision about your family's future. How do I know? Because I'm a client of Dan Deborah Care. If you want to have peace of mind knowing that your loved ones are protected, call Deborah Care Law Offices today. In Massachusetts, 978-686-4645. In New Hampshire, 603-894-4141.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
This Labor Day weekend, bring your entire family for the 100th annual Feast of the Three Saints in Lawrence. The best Italian food, free parking, and free entertainment. Stop by the Beer and Wine Gardens, and you'll love the entertainment. A spectacular lineup of talent throughout the weekend. Friday night, enjoy a Phantom of the Opera performance. You'll also see reggae rock artist Joe Samba perform live on stage. Saturday, Chef Marianne Esposito from the PBS series Ciao Italia will hold cooking demonstrations. And Saturday night at 8 on the bandstand, it's the Tre Santi Siciliani Orchestra with tenor Salvatore Bonafini. Come celebrate 100 years of Italian food, fun, and entertainment at this year's Feast of the Three Saints, September 1st through the 3rd in Lawrence. Follow the signs from the Marston Street exit on 495. Sponsored in part by Tuscan Brands, Market Basket, Tripoli Bakery, JG's Ice Cream and Fun Center, Catadella Funeral Home, Trident, Essex Companies, Donna's Sausage, and Jackson Lumber and Millwork. Visit threesaintsinc.org.
This is Cindy
and Mike Kunstler,
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
He is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
And we're on the carousel, and we're going, how fast can you go? Oh, that was the Himalaya. I'm sorry. I get confused. Francisco.
Let's go the other way. Real fast.
Francisco, we have a caller for you. I believe it's Marie. Marie, welcome to the Sicilian Corner, hon.
Oh, Thank you, guys. And first of all, I wanted to say,
Take your time, Marie. Are we talking
Turn-
too fast?
Turn your
here?
laptop
turn
down
the
'cause there's a
laptop
big
down.
delay. Yeah.
okay,
There we go.
There you go.
okay. So, first of all, I wanted to thank him very much for his service. I hope he hears that.
Appreciate it. I do.
Yep.
Good. I'll step away from the screen.
Yeah.
And second of all, I wanted to know how you got from Director of Veteran Services to the Director of the airport.
Good question, Marie. Thank you. I appreciate the call, Marie.
Thank
You're gonna listen into it, okay? Thank you. All right.
So my
how can-
trajectory, right? So I went from City of Lawrence, Director of Veteran Services. I was then invited by Mayor Menino to lead the Office of Veteran Services in Boston.
How was he?
He was a really good person to work for, and
He
because
was,
he
okay.
understood constituent services.
He loved
The
Boston.
strength of Mayor Menino was constituent services. He knew potholes, picking up trash for the average resident. That was what was important to them, and everything else was supplementary. So I served there for 4 years. I was invited to lead the Office of Veterans Affairs in the States. So being the Secretary of Veteran Services, which I was there for 5 years. And during the pandemic, I transitioned. I got my MBA in business management over at Endicott College. And so I also got, I am licensed with the FAA for aerial photography, which flying drones, remote pilot is my forte. My predecessor, Mike Miller, who was at the helm of the airport for about 20 years, almost nearly 20 years, transition. He went to the state. The city, being that the municipal airport is a city asset, the mayor, Mayor de Pena, gave me a call and asked me if I could fill in while there was a search, while the board was putting together a search for the successor.
Yep.
I served, and the board, after their search, asked me if I could stay on board. So here we are, approaching a year at the Lawrence Municipal Airport here in August, where I've been serving. We are in the midst of a construction project, 420 acres, 200 aircraft, 36 tenants that we have are part of the airport. We are one of the few departments in the city of Lawrence that is self-sufficient, meaning that we don't depend upon taxpayer dollars to do the services that we provide at the airport. Between the hangar space rentals, between the landing fees and fuel surcharges, that is how we are.
So you're self-sufficient.
We are, absolutely.
Wow. Plus, it's a boon to the economic in the whole area, because you think about it. I mean, you got Raytheon, you got the Lawrence Industrial Park. I mean, you're kind of right in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. And being there, having breakfast. I mean, I was counting the aircraft taking off, coming down. And do you have a flight training school there too?
We have 3 flight training schools. One that just arrived. So we have 2 fixed aircraft: ATP, Eagle East Aviation, Tim Campbell's Eagle East Aviation, and we also have Boston Helicopter.
Oh,
so it's a helicopter school and 2 fixed airplane schools. It is.
Francisco, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
sure.
but this is a very nice statement by Barbara. Francisco, your mom did a great job raising a true gentleman, which you are. My family and I had dealings with you at the Veterans Affairs. You were the most gracious to us at a most difficult time. And
thank you, Barbara.
I think that's, when you have, when you get into someone's life who lost a loved one, and her husband, Bill, served the country. And, something that's nice to hear. Roger says, thank you for your service. Is Amazon going to affect the airport?
Amazon,
that's a question by Marie.
No, and that's a fair question. Amazon is next door now to the airport. If anybody knows North.
Is it open?
It's in the stages of opening. They're not fully open quite yet as a distribution center. As right now, we don't foresee it. Our longest runway is 5,001 foot.
Almost a mile.
Almost 5,001 foot. Because it is not a mile.
Not as big
most
as it
cargo
sounds.
planes are not capable of landing there. So possibly not.
Really?
Do we do cargo? Yes, but probably not to that capacity of like a UPS or FedEx type of cargo shipment.
The airport is kind of a tweener because it can only handle so much size jets and so on. You could do some private jets and
Yes.
things like that. But what would be your unbridled vision for what the airport could potentially be?
Sure. Maximizing all of the space that we have for rentals. There's a lot of demand. The days of storing your plane just on the tarmac, those days, because of the technology, the resources that it takes to build a plane and store it and house it. Most people want to store, most pilots will like to store their planes indoors. Part of our master plan, which is a 5-year plan that we have developed, is to maximize some of that space. And again, with more rental space, then we generate more revenues to continue to improve upon the airport. We are right now under a $7 million capital improvement project, building a new taxiway, a demand of the FAA, a focus on safety. Everything we do at the airport is with a focus on safety, not just for the aviators, but also for the neighboring public.
Yeah. Like I said, I lived in the neighborhood and it was never a problem. I just want to mention to you, I have a little story about landing at the Lawrence Airport. Well, let me just stop. I want to ask you this question because it drives me crazy. The Lawrence Airport, it's 420 acres.
Yes.
It sits in North Andover.
It sits in North Andover, yes. So 1934.
No, explain to me.
1934. 1934. You can look at Exhibit A. About 26. Exhibit A. 26 parcels of that airport were farms.
Yeah.
They were bought by the agency that precedes the FAA in 1934. And you talk about the Wright brothers were, sometimes before that. And so now the country sees the value of aviation for what it can be. They approached North Andover. Now, Lawrence, a very industrial city, 1930s, the boom of the Industrial Revolution, a lot of textile. They saw a value for what it could do as a service. So they approached the city to build the airport or to be the owner of the airport. And so since 1934 till present, Lawrence Municipal Airport, yes, it sits in North Andover, but it is run and operated by the city of Lawrence and through the Airport Commission.
So the land is leased from North Andover?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, I've been curious. I want to tell you, just go ahead.
All of the tenants that are at the airport pay property taxes to North Andover. And that is essentially exchange of the land lease.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
But the lease payments are to the city and to the Airport Commission.
There's a lot of development going on in that area. I noticed all those apartments that went up on Sutton Street.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
you got a good Chinese restaurant close by too.
Absolutely. I wish they'd bring their buffet back. They haven't brought their buffet back.
Well, the
so that's a different
buffet,
story. Yeah.
Something, I don't know. Buffets to me, I don't get a warm, cozy feeling.
Well, you get the variety, right?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult are the approach and landings and takeoffs at Lawrence? Because I know you got the stacks on one side. You got a pretty good approach.
A clear view, and they're both clear, right? One is right up on the Merrimack, right, and as long as our neighbors remain, which they are mandated to keep their buildings low to the approaches, both 523, 1432 are both decent.
We had an opportunity. We were coming back from dinner. We were up in Portland. And my friend had a Russell helicopter, Russell 4.3, I think it's called. And living near the airport, I knew that the lights went off at 10 o'clock.
Sure.
And it's midnight.
Right.
And we're flying. And I says, the airport's closed. How do you know where you're going? He says, no problem.
Yeah.
So there was a button on the console because we were sitting in the front, him and I, and the girls were sitting in the back. So he says, press it once. So I pressed it. And it was like a giant Christmas tree lighting up. It was so cool.
Really?
He says, hit it again.
Yeah.
I hit it the second time and the light intensity went up. When I hit it the third time, I lit up the whole freaking airport. I loved it so much, I shut it off and did it again.
Okay.
You can remotely access it?
You can, yeah. Any pilot can turn on the lights remotely. So we do have a tower that is manned from 7 to 10 p.m. Daily. But pilots can land and often do at their own discretion, at their own risk, to be able to, and to facilitate that, through their radios, they could turn on the lights. And that's one of the features that we have at the airport.
See, there's a first date right there.
I loved it.
Turning on the airport lights.
I loved it. I thought that was the coolest freaking thing. It just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The economic part of this is it really adds a lot of money to the area. correct?
Without a doubt, absolutely. Look, between the capital projects beyond the airport and our visitors, generates about $18 million a year. There is a multiplier that impacts within another $11 million. And so between the jobs, 260 plus minus jobs that are created, the focus on payroll through all those jobs, about $10 million, there's an output about $30 million that gets compacted. And that was through an economic impact report that was developed by the state several years back, and is very true. You see some of those schools, you see those not just the schools of aviations, but the operators of the mechanics, the folks that do a lot of work. All of in Massachusetts, we're very fortunate where parts for airplanes are tax-free. So that brings a lot of value to the Merrimack Valley, where people would otherwise go elsewhere or prevent them from going elsewhere. See the value in a place like Lawrence and Lawrence Municipal Airport, and do services and business with us.
You know something? Hats off, man.
Thank you.
Hats off. So officially, you'll know when that you'll be a permanent manager.
Oh no, that has already come and
so
gone.
you are the airport
manager. I
manager.
am the airport manager.
So you're back in the area.
Yes, I am.
Oh, I love it.
Very happily so. And it is if you could, whether you want to come have a meal over at Dominic's Diner and see some of the airplanes on. We're observing a National Aviation Day on Saturday, August 19th between 5:30 and 8 p.m. Come on down, come on and join us. We're going to park all of our vehicles that we do use to maintain the airfield, especially in the winter, the big, heavy machinery. Talk about a road that's almost a mile that needs to be cleared very quickly. You can see how we do that in the winter, and we'll have a couple planes there, aesthetics display.
Lou and I appreciate you taking the time and joining us.
It's always a blast to come and be part and join you all. And my biggest downfall is that this hour just goes by so quickly.
Too late. We're running over, actually. Yeah. Listen, we need to run next week. You're going to learn all about gambling, how to make money at the slot machine, especially at the Encore. Bill D'Orazio is going to be in the studio for 1 hour. Any question you want to ask, he'll answer. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Thank you.